once there was a little boy named Jack. Jack loved to eat beans. And he was at home one day, and his mommy was making a new recipe. And he smelled it. He said, Mom, what are you making? Are you making beans? And she said, I am. I'm trying a new recipe out. And he goes, you shouldn't mess with a good recipe, Mom. You already make pretty good beans. You know, Dad and I, we like those beans. And she goes, these are great beans. They're going to be good for your heart. They're called vegetarian beans. He goes, what? Now, what kind of meat is in a vegetarian bean? There is no meat in it. We're going to have tomatoes and onions. It's just going to be a really good pot of beans. And he said, that's all right, Mom. You should not mess with a good recipe of beans. Give me a break. Well, I just want you to know that made Jack very angry. I think he was like preteen. And so he went outside. And he was angry. And when he was angry, he just went down the road, and he lived out in the country, and he was just kicking the dirt, and he was just, vegetarian beans, what is that about? We need meat in our beans, Daddy and me, we need meat in our beans. And so he was walking down, and he was kicking the ground, and then he went off the trail, and he got into close to the creek, the niches, and then he saw a little bitty creek, and there was a big log, and he knew his way around the place, so he went, and he was still grumping and fussing when all of a sudden he was walking on that log, and there was a hunk of meat. He went, oh, a hunk of meat. Now, you guys know, you're old enough to know that when you get meat, little children know that you go to the store to get meat, and it's like this pretty red, and it's got this wrapper around it, and there isn't anything buzzing around it. But a hunk of meat on a log, who knows how long it was there, it had these things. But Jack didn't care because he thought it was sort of like an answer to prayer. He thought, there it is. My hunk of meat for my beans. My daddy's going to be so proud of me. And so he picked it up and he stuffed it in his shirt and he ran home. Now his mama, he sort of slowed up when he got to the house. But his mama was in the backyard hanging up the clothes, and so he could see that she was sort of busy. And Daddy was at work, so that was okay. So he ran in and he just sort of failed to ask his mama if he could put that meat in the beans, because it was meat. And he wanted meat and beans. So he did this. Boop. Now, the beans were boiling. And out of that meat, as soon as it hit the bubbling beans, this wonderful smell came out of it. And he stirred it. And I guess that meat was so tender that it just disintegrated. It was just beautiful. And he was so excited. Well, it wasn't long, and his mama came in the door, and she said, see? Now that is a pot of beans, and it's my new recipe. Your daddy and you are going to love it. Jack just didn't seem to bring it up, that he'd added some to those beans. So, it wasn't long, and his daddy came home, and he comes in, and he goes, oh, this is good stuff. What is that? And she said, it's beans. It's a new recipe, vegetarian beans. And Jack just didn't occur to him to bring that up, that maybe he'd altered the recipe. All right, so they had cornbread, they had beans, they ate every bit of it. Every bit of it. It was just wonderful. Jack was so proud of himself. He never even brought that up at dinner, that maybe he'd added something to that. All right, it was his time to clean up the kitchen. And his mom and dad went up to bed. And when he was cleaning, the window was open, and he heard this say, give me my hunk of meat. He went, I wonder what that is. And I cleaned up, and he sort of started to really clean up a little faster. And he heard it again in the window. Give me my And he said, oh, I think the kitchen is done. And he ran up his stairs, and he went into his room, and he started to brush his teeth. and he heard something coming up the stairs. Give me my hunk of meat. And you know, I don't know if you've ever been this scared before, but he really was thinking, well, I need to tell my mom and daddy something's in the house. But he got really, well, he just was so brave, he just, whoop, he's under the cover. And then he hears something come into his room. And he comes close to the door. And he hears, give me my hunk of meat. Now this is how scared he was. His throat got tight. His heart was beating. And he thought to himself, I'll give it to you. And he threw off the covers and he went, then take it. And that, my friends, is the end of that tale.